Numbers rolling. Good day. Um, Reading through this morning, and I haven't gotten very far, but I am here. Um, okay. In Job 28:28, is it? Let me double check. I believe it says, and unto man he said, Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. So let's go back here, double check myself. I'm quite sure, but let's double check me. Yes, Job 28:28. And unto man he said, Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. Now then, here we go. Maybe this will all connect at the end. Reading in Proverbs 19 this morning, got to verse 13, where it reads, A foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. Now then, foolish. We know that, or if we don't, we can learn, right? Psalm 14, I believe it is. No, don't want to go back to Job. Psalm 14, I believe it is. Yes. The fool hath said in his heart, There is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. Now on to Psalm 50. Something. Psalm 53. The fool hath said in his heart, There is no God. Corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good. So there in Psalm 14 and Psalm 53, the first verses, we have the definition of a fool. So, foolish, foolishly. To behave foolishly, we as saints can behave very foolishly at times. But foolish, foolishly, to be foolish is what? To be as one that hath said in his heart, There is no God. Corrupt are they have done abominable iniquity, they have done abominable works. So back to Proverbs 19, verse 13, a foolish son is the calamity of his father. So a son who behaves as if he hath said in his heart that there is no God. There would be no fear of the Lord before his eyes in those doings anyway. Now then, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom. Okay, let's go to Proverbs chapter 1. There's chapter 5. That doesn't help at the moment. Okay, Proverbs chapter 1. Gonna go to verse 7, and there are other verses that say the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, but we're going to go with Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7, which reads, The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So, as well as including other things such as to hate evil, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom. When we think of wisdom being the fear of the Lord, I think it is good to tie in also because just read this verse, knowledge, instruction, true wisdom, not the wisdom of the world, comes from the Lord. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom, the fear of the Lord, and instruction. It all ties in there together. In the fear of the Lord being the beginning of knowledge, you fear the Lord, you get knowledge, where do you go? You go to His Word. You go to Him in prayer. And so you get knowledge, but you begin to seek that knowledge of the Lord because of the fear of the Lord. And yes, I know some do it just because. I did in the past just because. Didn't gain any true knowledge, but I gained as much as a lost person could, maybe. But, with the fear of the Lord being the beginning of knowledge, you search, you seek, you find it, His Word. But fools despise wisdom. They despise the fear of the Lord to begin with, so they're not going to be seeking for the knowledge that He has and instruction. The beginning of knowledge. From that knowledge, you receive instruction. Or from instruction, you can receive knowledge, such as in working on vehicles, working on the cars. I would look through, I would seek, I would find, and I would search out, I would find the instruction on how, and then that would give me the knowledge to do. But yes, it is true, and I start out generally for myself with the first basic definition that I can get. The first basic. Okay. And behold, unto man he said, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom. Ground level. Now go on to Proverbs 7, or Proverbs 1, verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Okay. So the beginning of knowledge and wisdom, and then the beginning of knowledge, that is the fear of the Lord. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. You see how that all ties in there together. So, and coming up with a more definitive phraseology, that's probably not quite right. For the fear of the Lord, those are our two places to start. So, wisdom isn't always necessarily, I guess, and I'm not speaking of the worldly wisdom right now, okay? Wisdom may not always necessarily be the fear of the Lord, but it is the beginning of it. It is the stemming from it. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Otherwise, without fear of the Lord, why would one seek or search for that knowledge? Why would you even care? If one is out there committing sin, if one is out there, say perhaps you're going to fornicate or commit adultery, or you're going to steal or rob somebody, if you don't have the fear of the Lord, then why would you even care about the knowledge of it being wrong? And I know God's laws are written in our hearts, so for the most part, a person would know until they sear their conscience that that is wrong. But there are those who do, and why, I don't know, different situations, but one thing being maybe the fear of the Lord is not before their eyes, they don't have it. Or, the many things that this blessed country does, such as committing abortions, exalting sodomy, seems to be somewhat of an underlying attitude also. How underlying it is, I don't know. Of, yes, it may be wrong, but if you can get away with it, it's okay. I've ran into that in the past. But then coming on with my rattling on and going on, going back here, a foolish son is the calamity of his father. Son saying within his heart that there is no God, hence there would be no fear of the Lord before his eyes, because there is no God to fear to begin with. which led on into that. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Well, the instruction that cometh from the fear of the Lord, wisdom, knowledge, same thing, at least very closely related here because they both tie in with the fear of the Lord. That's the whole intent. That's the whole purpose. Once again, if you do not have wisdom, which is the fear of the Lord, as defined in Job 28:28, then why are you going to care about the knowledge, which is defined as the fear of the Lord in Proverbs chapter 1? Hence, being foolish might be quite the calamity, huh? Well, hopefully this will make sense to somebody and maybe it will help someone out. It may seem somewhat circular or such, but I get it. I get it. So, when we consider wisdom, one, is it godly? Is it worldly? Is it the fear of the Lord? It's also, well, yes, but knowledge is tied in there with it also, and instruction. So, I guess that's it for right now. Maybe it'll do someone some good, maybe it won't. On with another day. On with another day. Bye for now.